Alright, so welcome back to another driveway. Today we got the rear bumper cover off because I plan on doing a quick respray before we have to take a run for Rocky Mountain Race Week. So decided to rip that off, and while I have that off, I may as well make myself a bumper mount type of trailer hitch. So on this Crossfire, we have this nice area where the exhaust usually goes, but for us, we don't have the exhaust back here anymore, so we have all this open space right where a trailer hitch should go. So we've got this hefty seam that goes right along the bottom. That's a double layer. So there's the inside that's from the trunk pan, and then there's this outside, which is part of the bumper sections. So that's a really hefty point. And then I decided to rig up a conglomeration device to go right in there. So on this thing, we've got essentially a piece that they sell for bolting onto kind of a step bumper on pickup trucks. So it comes with bolts. I just put it into a 2x2 square tube T that I made, created this strap to wrap over there, and inside, it's kind of hard to see, but there's like a, I don't know, about a half-inch piece of bar stock that they sent with the kit, and I welded the nut onto that, onto the bar stock, so when it sits in here and you bolt down on it, it'll just bind into the side. And then I created a mount back here, and we'll show you where that ends up here in just a couple moments. Alright, so essentially I'm just going to grab my helmet and we're just going to put a decent zap on here so we can figure out the inside section pretty quick. Someone forgot to turn the gas on. Okay. Not enough to hold it for long, but should be enough to get a post under here. Okay. works for me. All right, and then the tail end lines up with this body hole that already existed. So I just need to drill a hole into the plank piece. Then we just have to throw on a nut and a washer on the bottom here. That hurt. Okay. So that is now on there. So essentially what this whole extra bar is when we have physics. When we have pressure down on the ball, it's going to try to bend this piece of metal, which since it's just a seam, it would bend pretty easily. There's also a flat spot in here where it sits that would resist that bend, but then you're only talking like a 2-inch fulcrum. So you could actually twist and rip this away from the metal pretty easily. So by having that bar extended back in here, it's going to push the bar upwards, and metal doesn't like to stretch, so that's going to help it out a lot. And then also, if we get into, if somebody like rear ends the trailer and it hammers everything forward, this here can bend as well. But up there, it'll be able to slow it down a little bit, and then it'll actually hit the cross member there for the rear end setup. So I would say this is a pretty good accomplishment for a day. That would be a 250-pound tongue weight. And we sure as heck better not have anything close to that. So let's just out of curiosity check and see how that rear bumper fits, and see if I might have to do a little trimming or something. It's entirely possible. Wheel. The trailer hitch didn't have that big nose on it, it would fit in there quite well. What we could probably do is they make one of these things that converts the big receiver into a small receiver, and that should drop it down just a tiny bit, that then we can just shove the small receiver in and be good on that side. So if we took the little bit smaller guy, if that hooked into there, we might be out here. Then we're in business. So I think we're good either way. We could probably even just find one of these receivers and grind down that peak, because we wouldn't necessarily need it like that. But that's something for another day. Even that guy fits. Alright. They also makes an extension for that, so either way we'll have something that works. I'm completely in it. So, I guess let's yank this thing back off. That way I can get to hand sanding this thing and be able to throw a little color down and hopefully turn this thing from a 30-foot paint job to a 10-foot paint job. Alright, so thanks again for stopping by. And hopefully we'll be just about done with this thing and see you at a later time.